Bobby Fi here, solo at the moment. I don't think Sheets is going to show up, but I am going to share my screen and just talk a little bit about what I'm doing on this slate. It's look, it's a good slate. It's a good GPP slate. And there's a lot of different ways to go pitching wise. I'm going to sort of just look at who's most popular and then measure it against what my exposures are here. But again, please always like, subscribe, all that stuff. We appreciate it. It's a little bit unfortunate that we don't have Sheets here tonight because it would be nice to because he has been the one doing damage this year. It's been kind of struggle city a little bit. So okay, starting with pitching though, here's what I'm doing. Take it for what you will. I am very concerned about this Cubs game. I'm going to leave a stack or two in of that just because I want to have some exposure there. I definitely would like to get exposure to the Cubbies tonight. So I'm going to take some shots in case that game plays. That's the best way I can describe it. I was going to play Imanaga as well in the same lineup, or some of them. I just don't think it's worth it to do it. I just don't think it's a good enough play. And for me, it's not what I would want to do. So anyway, I am, going to end up with a little bit of that, but it's going to be probably 10% or so. And I'm still curious because they still might end up being popular, but it's really hard with weather games to have a great feel for it. I will get out of here in time to probably hear Ross weather report myself, but obviously we can talk about that in the Discord. All right. So, Kirby, Fried, Gill, are my top 3 owned pitchers. I also have a good amount of Arrighetti, some Sandoval, some Spence, and some Burns. Those are basically my pitching pool. On FanDuel, I am more interested in Gill, and after that, it would be a toss a coin between Kirby and Fried. I think they're really close. But I think Fried might feel a little bit safer, I guess, even though he's pitching in Boston. Sounds a little weird to say out loud. All right. So that's what I'm doing pitching-wise. And like I said, on DraftKings, Kirby, Gill, Arrighetti, and Fried, I have similar ownerships. On FanDuel, it's going to be Arrighetti. I'm sorry, that's going to be not Arrighetti. It's going to be Kirby, Fried, and Gill as my primary pitchers on FanDuel. I did update my cores and everything for those of you guys who do want to check that out. Anyway, all right. So before I get to position by position, I'm just going to talk about what I've got stacks wise. I have a ton of exposure to Baltimore, both in full stacks and mini stacks. Now it is going to be a bullpen game against what is a decent bullpen, but 1, they're going to be low owned. 2, I like you get the 9 at bats from them. That's great. This is an elite level offense. 3, the most important maybe is that they have 2 players. They have Connor Norby at 2K. And Austin Hayes at 2,300. I'm sorry, Norby at 25, Hayes at 23. It just makes it easier to get away with it. I like both of those pieces. I like them. I would even use Hayes as a one-off, especially against a righty, sort of nullifying the pinch hit risks that he usually has to deal with. So, well, it's kind of weird if it's a righty. It's a strange situation. So you might have to deal with some risk of it. As of right now, I am very overexposed to Baltimore. I am exposed to Cincinnati, but as I mentioned earlier, the only way I'd make a 4-man stack or more with them is if I've got Montas and Spence on the mound or something like that. Something weird just to get different enough is the only way I could sort of justify that type of play. So that's that. So I like I guess my overall thing is that, exposure outside of stacks in Cincinnati. Although I do have some 3 and like I said, you can have the 4-man if you do the wild and crazy thing, or Sandoval is another option. But as far as full stacks go, I have my main ones are going to be Houston, Seattle, and Baltimore. I am probably going to shift and get a little bit more exposure to the Giants, whose lineup we won't have, because initially it looked like they were going to be popular. I don't know if they'll end up being that popular because of these lineups coming out late. I really do think has an impact, and I also think that maybe you don't need the value as much. Nobody's trying to play Imanaga, Gill as much anymore. I think Imanaga is going to be unowned basically because of the weather in that game. So, all right, positions. I do think Stevenson, if you again, great one-off play as a part of stacks. In terms of, for me, what I ended up with, it's going to be part of stacks mostly. Diaz, Rushman, Raleigh, Amaya. Not a shocker there. That's the group I'm rolling with mostly. I will get probably some Bailey or whoever ends up catching for the Giants. I might end up getting some exposure to because I think I plan on adding some Giants stacks. After that, at first base, sorry, it's a little different on the DraftKings one, so I'm just seeing what I've got exposure to. I don't love like Candelario in general as a hitter, but of guys who should get a boost by playing Coors, you think it'd be him, and he did a home run last night. So I do have a lot of Candelario. Obviously, you can play him at third as well. I have a lot of Mountcastle, some Matt Olson one-offs, some Willie Calhoun, some Montero. So I'm kind of a little bit spread out more at first base than I thought, although some of those were Candelario at third, so I'm not really sure how that works. Second base, Norby, Rojas, Altuve, Rogers, and Horner in that order for me. Third base, Rojas, I already mentioned Candelario, Bregman, Morel, Carpenter. Shortstop, De La Cruz, Henderson, Crawford, and I have some Mason Wynn. It was a value thing that I have. Oh, I do have some little mini three-mans of St. Louis tonight. And I actually don't think it's a bad idea to try and take a shot against Arrighetti, who's going to have some ownership, including by me. All right, what were we just at? Was that third base or shortstop? What did I say? That was third base. So we did shortstop. Outfield. So again, Austin Hayes is my highest owned player because he's part of that that Baltimore side that I like. I am a little nervous about the thing, so I'm going to have less Hayes as a note just because I think I have a little too much of him right now. Other than that, it's basically guys from my stacks: Rayleigh, Santander, Myers. I still think Fairchild makes sense as a one-off just with his price leading off. Also, definitely a pinch hit risk though. That's the one thing about that Cincinnati lineup. There's a lot of pinch hit risk across throughout it. Other 30% guys: Alvarez, Cowser, Julio Rodriguez, Burleson, and then I get into my Cub stacks around 10-15% of Bellinger, Happ. I have 10 of Happ, 15 of Bellinger, and again, I'm just playing that game in stacks. I think you really should just play that Cubs game in stacks. Anyway, this is probably going to be a quick show. Seems like there's not a whole lot of people in the mood on Tuesday, but if you guys want to talk about anything, I'm going to go out on a limb. I have some weird bets that I'm doing. My friends were able to place them for me. I probably shouldn't say that on air, but I'm going to bet. So I do think Boston wins this series most of the time. I do think it's also weird to have the best player in the planet like getting 2-1. So I like that a little bit. I really like Boston to win game one and then lose the series. I like that a little bit. I'll run a sim for you, Pingalore. All right, Pingalore, you got to come join us. We do all the sims and stuff for you. But where's why don't you come join the TrueDFS thing? I know you're not a member of our site, but it'd be nice to have you. Let's see. All right, let's do this real quick. I'm going to build. What tournament do you want, Pingalore? Just let me know. Let's do it with the 20 max, even though it's not going to be a 20 max. Pingalore, let me know which tournament to run it for, and I'll do it. But I'm not just good. I'm going to. Feels like every time I do this, when people ask for it, I feel like I'm giving away something. But I know Pingalore is a part of SaberSim, so he's a part of us. He's just not a part of TrueDFS directly. But give me the tournament to run it. I'm happy to run it. 20 max. What 20 max? Okay, I'm just gonna assume the $4, and then we're gonna call that the thing. All right, there we go. Four-seamer. All right, save settings. All right, let me do this. Let's just make that 10. Well, it's gonna make it even more popular. I'll just make it 9.9. All right, and we'll do 10.7 here. All right, let's see what we get. So yesterday I did come up with the contrarian ones that almost worked. It would have worked if, Cincinnati didn't go completely off. That was what it was. Yeah, Pingalore, I believe it's. Is it official yet? I've said this since the season ended. He started the podcast with LeBron. I told all my friends, I said, there's no way he's not going to be. I'd like to be, as I said, at least part of the coaching staff. Didn't realize it would just jump straight into head coach, but I know it's going to happen. Whether it happens right away or not, I would not be surprised. It would be kind of shitty for them to announce it before the finals. Like, it's really stupid to take away attention from other teams. Yeah, it wouldn't be official until after the finals, is my guess. I really don't like that type of thing. But for what it's worth, I hate this Reddick to the Lakers things. I actually like. Oh, I know it is Pingalore. I'm with. I believe me. I know people who are very tight with many GMs, and they are they're 100+%. It's a terrible thing for the Lakers, in my opinion, not because Redick is going to be a bad coach. I think Redick's actually a good coach. I'm done with the LeBron thing. I'm so done with watching this and the same BS every year and the same overhype we get. Because, look, we had one great title run. I really think that we got incredibly lucky to face a team without Ja that when we made the conference finals and got swept by Denver. And literally, we were not one of the best 6 or 7 teams in the league that year. Maybe not even one of the best 10. And we just happened to make the conference finals. Sort of like Indiana this year, probably about the 10th best team making the conference finals. The Lakers are not real contenders. They're not going to be anytime soon. They're going to do it the exact wrong way. And if you watch LeBron outside of Miami, because they have the best GM in the history of the game, or the best team president in Riley, LeBron leaves just complete destruction and everything in his wake. And it's so hard to rebound from that. He's the worst for your city's future of any player, because he'll come for a few years and then just completely leave you in shambles. Now, Kevin Durant has got something to say about that, because he's trying to do the same thing to a bunch of different franchises, starting with OKC, going to Golden State, and then although they won one without him. And then he tried to do it to them, but he couldn't get away with it. And then he did it again. Let's run the contest. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm just really annoyed. Let's get rid of this LeBron experience. Trade LeBron, trade him for let's get 3 first round. I don't even think we could get 3 first rounders from anybody except for maybe a team that's going to win right away. And that would be, they'd have to do it with the Thunder. Let's do 2 min uniques too. I think that makes things a little bit better. Just a little more the way that I would do it. I'll give you 7 pitchers in this. It's not going to change much from this little thing here. I'm not going to go through all the lineups. I'm just going to see sort of the general outline of what we get, and then we'll take a look at the stacks. So we've got Fried 60%, Montas at 50%. Wow. Now, what the hell? I have Montas as a fringy play, but that's interesting. Let's just see the K prop on Montas, or the K expectancy. I mean, look, he's 6K with almost a 5K expectancy. That makes sense. Look who else they got. They got my guy in there, 25%, Patrick Sandoval. So they went with the getting different at pitcher thing a little bit more than I would have expected, which means we're probably going to see a lot of Cincinnati in these lineups. I'm just guessing. And it's a very educated guess. So these are the pitches. This is the way the pitching shook out for them. For what it's worth, I do have some. I didn't mention this, but I do have some Texas also. I don't have Texas full stacks, but I have a 4-man on FanDuel for Texas. I think Flaherty's the kind of guy they can get to. Now, he's also got upside. I understand it, but I just want to throw that out there. So, yeah, they're saying go way overweight Cincinnati, and they love St. Louis every day, and they're going to love the Giants, right? Yeah, they love the Giants. So, Cincinnati, St. Louis, and the Giants, we can look at what we got exactly in terms of 5-man stacks. We have 55% Cincinnati. Wow. Okay. Just went for the 100% 5-man stacks and with the most popular team and probably the 3rd or 4th most popular team. 3rd. Okay. Interesting. No 4-man stacks will be there. There'll be the 3-mans, St. Louis, Cincinnati. And then they really spread out the 3-mans a little bit. And then how about the 2s? We just got a little bit there. Okay. All right. That's, that makes some sense. So that's what we got. Anyway, guys, I want to say good luck. Please give a little thumbs up. We appreciate the support, and I'm going to get back to my builds. And hopefully we see you guys in the Discord at crushing it tonight. Good luck, everybody.